Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take a whole stack of information, kind of sift through it all, and pull out the most important bits of knowledge and insight just for you. Today, we're diving into, well, a really bizarre internet mystery. It's something that's baffled people online for, well over a decade now. The infamous Blank Room Soup video.
Yes, it's a true classic of internet enigma, isn't it? A piece of, you could say, digital folklore that started making the rounds years and years ago. And even now, where it came from, what it was for, it's still wrapped up in questions. It sparked just countless theories, from the really disturbing stuff to the just plain weird. What's so fascinating, I think, is how this one simple, kind of unsettling clip just took on this whole life of its own online.
Exactly. So for this deep dive, we've looked at a really detailed account from someone who was really determined to get to the bottom of this viral thing. We'll be looking at how they pieced together clues, from old online accounts, some surprising links to the animation world, and even talking directly to some key people involved. Our mission today really is to peel back all those layers of speculation and try to figure out what we actually know about Blank Room Soup. But maybe more importantly, what does a story like this tell us about this strange, unpredictable stuff you can just stumble across online?
Okay, let's unpack this. So imagine for a second, you see a video pop up somewhere, maybe on an old forum or something, and it's just unsettling, like deeply unsettling. That's basically the experience people had with Blank Room Soup. It shows this man, he's wearing what looks like a bib, and his eyes are just blacked out, totally obscured. And he's eating something from a bowl in this really bizarre way with this huge, almost comical spoon. And standing around him are these two strange costumed characters, sort of human shape, but not quite. It adds to this whole surreal feeling.
Yeah, very uncanny valley.
Right. And this clip, it's been floating around for almost 15 years, believe it or not. But a few years back, it got this huge boost in attention. Lots of people started claiming it came from the deep web, that hidden kind of illicit part of the internet.
It is pretty striking, isn't it, how quickly that deep web idea caught on. And that immediately makes you wonder, okay, why this video?
Yeah.
Why did it get so much traction? And why did people jump straight to these really extreme, often quite sinister conclusions? The theories were wild. Some people were convinced it was like a genuine torture video. Maybe the guy was being forced to eat, horrible things, even human remains. Yeah. Others thought maybe it was some kind of really niche, disturbing fetish content. The thing is, the video itself is so ambiguous. There's no context. His face is hidden. It just creates this void, right? And human nature, especially online, tends to fill voids like that with the most extreme, the most unsettling ideas. It kind of taps into our fears about the unknown corners of the web.
So the source we looked at for this deep dive, this person was a really dedicated internet detective, you could say. They started digging into it, really wanting to debunk these crazy theories. They weren't just looking for an answer, they wanted the answer. And this is where the investigation really starts to get interesting. The first big breakthrough was finding an account on Dailymotion.
Dailymotion. Yeah, that was a big video platform back in the mid-2000s, kind of before YouTube totally took over.
Exactly. And this account was called Ray TV. And it had several videos featuring the exact same two costume characters from Blank Room Soup.
That was huge, a massive link. Suddenly, Blank Room Soup wasn't just this isolated weird clip. It was connected to something else. And the most crucial bit here was that Ray TV, this account, it had a video that was identical to Blank Room Soup, but the title was different. It was called Freaky Soup Guy.
Freaky Soup Guy.
Yeah, and get this, it was uploaded way back in 2008, long before all the deep web stuff started flying around.
Wow, 2008.
And the description for Freaky Soup Guy, it read, "A clip of people who look like us doing something to someone that we would never do. We promise."
Okay, that's weirdly specific. People who look like us.
Right. And there was another similar video titled Soup Torture. Now, that description, we promise, while it sounds maybe reassuring on the surface, it actually fueled a whole new debate at first. Did it mean someone else had copied the costumes and was using them for actual torture, like some twisted tribute?
Oh, I see. So the description itself was ambiguous.
Exactly. For a long time, the researcher looking into this found that idea really unsettling and didn't quite buy it. They suspected there was more going on than just some sinister copycat thing. The wording is just so odd.
So from there, and the trail led them to dig into the other videos on that Ray TV account. They started cross-referencing things, researching names connected to the videos, and eventually a name popped up. Raymond Percy.
Raymond Percy. And this wasn't just some random name you see. When they looked him up, it turned out he's actually a pretty significant figure. He has this really impressive resume in animation, worked on huge shows like The Simpsons, Disney movies like Frozen. He even did voice acting, like Gan in Wreck-It Ralph.
Seriously, so a mainstream animator is connected to this.
Right. Initially, the thought was, well, maybe Ray Ray was just an early project of his, something experimental he did for fun, or maybe back in art school.
Yeah, that makes sense. Artists often have side projects.
Totally. It's not uncommon for animation pros to have these kind of passion projects exploring different stuff. So the researcher kept digging and eventually found his personal Tumblr page. He used it to answer fan mail sometimes, share behind-the-scenes Disney stuff.
Okay.
And this kind of unexpectedly gave them a way to maybe reach out directly. A rare chance to actually ask the source.
So even though they thought it was a long shot, the researcher decided, okay, I'll email him. And incredibly, Raymond Percy actually replied. He was apparently really kind about it.
Yeah, and what's really surprising is Raymond seemed genuinely taken aback, almost like amused that anyone was still interested in this video nearly a decade after it first appeared.
He had no idea it had become this big internet mystery.
Apparently not, or at least not the extent of it. So after the researcher explained about the video going viral again, all the crazy theories, Raymond shared his side of the story by email. He finally revealed what Ray Ray was all about.
Okay, so this is it, the origin story.
This is where it shifts, right? From just being a weird internet thing to something about, well, artistic expression. The obvious question is, why would someone like him, known for mostly family-friendly animation, create these characters? They're so unsettling, but also kind of captivating.
Yeah, what was the reason?
Well, Raymond explained that Ray Ray was actually a performance art project he created years ago.
Oh, yeah.
It was something very personal for him. He designed it to try and visualize and sort of explore his own really deep feelings of loneliness and isolation.
Loneliness and isolation. Wow.
Yeah. He saw the characters as these exaggerated caricatures of himself, figures who looked striking, they grab your attention, but they lacked the normal tools to actually communicate or express their thoughts properly. Yet, paradoxically, they still stood out, drew attention from the world, whether they wanted it or not.
That's a really interesting concept.
It is. And it's important to remember what performance art is, right? It's not like a painting you hang on a wall. It uses the artist's body. Their actions usually live often in fleeting moments. It's about the experience, the idea. And these Ray Ray characters, they didn't just appear as full costumes overnight. They started as just doodles, apparently, in a notebook. Then they evolved into paintings, other art pieces, and then finally became these full-bodied, kind of unsettling characters you see in the videos.
So they existed in the real world as performances.
Exactly. Physically present, but somehow completely separate from everything around them. And Raymond mentioned, kind of ironically, that for a project about isolation, Ray Ray actually connected him with a lot of other performers and artists.
Huh. So it wasn't just him.
No, it became a troupe. They performed mostly in LA, but they also toured across the US, even went internationally sometimes, which just shows how this very personal idea actually resonated.
Okay, so let's get this straight. The characters in Blank Room Soup, the ones that freaked everyone out online, were actually part of a real international live performance art project.
Correct.
But then, how did they end up in that video? The weird soup-eating one. It seems totally disconnected from, exploring isolation through art.
Well, this is where the story takes another turn. And it's actually kind of sad and definitely unsettling, especially for Raymond. One time, the Ray Ray group was performing at a club on the Sunset Strip in Hollywood. Raymond thinks it was the Key Club, which was a pretty well-known venue.
Okay.
The backstage area there was apparently tiny, just really cramped.
Huh.
So their dressing room for that night ended up being this, dirty, broken-down RV that was parked in a dark alley behind the club.
Not exactly glamorous.
Not at all. And that night, they were performing alongside this bigger sort of circus-type group. They had dancers, drummers, fire eaters, the works. And this other group apparently had a pretty big following in LA, kind of a cult fan base. So the club was packed. Lots of people saw the Ray Ray characters that night, knew their act.
Right, so they were visible.
Very visible. So after the show, they're striking the stage, packing up equipment. Eventually, Raymond's group heads back to the RV in the alley to pack up the Ray Ray gear and get some food. And what they found was just devastating. Most of their Ray Ray props and costumes were gone. Stolen. The RV door didn't have a proper lock, and the alley just opened right onto a busy street. So the thief could have been anyone, really. Maybe someone from the audience who'd seen them, maybe just a random person walking by.
Wow, so someone just walked off with these huge, distinct costumes.
Apparently so. Raymond was, as you can imagine, really, really upset. It wasn't just losing stuff. It felt like a violation of his art. Luckily, they had recently had some extra costumes made, duplicates. So Ray could actually continue performing, but still, it was a huge blow, emotionally and practically, for the whole team.
Okay, so the costumes were stolen. That's one piece of the puzzle. But how does that lead to the video?
Well, weeks after the theft, Raymond gets home from work one day, turns on his computer, checks his email, and there's an email with an attachment.
Let me guess.
Yep. It was the video. The one everyone now calls Blank Room Soup. The guy in the bib, eyes blacked out, eating something weird, and his stolen Ray characters just standing there around him.
He just received it in an email. From who?
He didn't say, or maybe didn't know. He immediately uploaded to YouTube, apparently as an unlisted video at first, just so he could share it with his group, like, look at this, is this what I think it is?
Wow, just out of the blue.
Totally out of the blue. And imagine seeing your art, your very personal project about isolation, suddenly appear like that, used by someone else for who knows what. It's got to be incredibly jarring.
So what did they think? His group, Raymond, what was their reaction?
Well, they talked about it a lot, obviously. They couldn't even figure out if the guy in the video was crying or laughing behind the blacked out eyes, which just made it even weirder, more ambiguous.
Yeah, that ambiguity is key, isn't it?
Absolutely. But the strangest thing for Raymond, the part he found truly fascinating, was that the Rays in the video, the people wearing his stolen costumes, they moved and behaved exactly the way his trained performers did.
Really? Like they knew the specific movements?
Precisely. He said this was something new performers usually had to train for weeks to get right during rehearsals. It wasn't just standing there. There was a specific way they were meant to be. And Raymond didn't think they had much video of their performances online back then for someone to easily copy, which made him wonder, had the people who made this video actually been watching their live shows for a while, maybe even stalking them?
That adds another creepy layer to it.
It really does. And what's also kind of intriguing is Raymond's own reaction to the video. He actually admitted he found it. Funny.
It's funny, even though his stuff was stolen and used like this.
Yeah, funny, despite it being made with his stolen work and feeling, a bit insulting. It's a complex reaction, isn't it?
Definitely.
Maybe as an artist, there's a part of you that wants your work seen, even if it's twisted like this. Or maybe it was just the sheer surreal absurdity of it all that appealed to his artistic side, even while the theft itself felt like a violation. Apparently, some members of his group even reposted some of the videos featuring the stolen suits, maybe out of that same weird mix of confusion and dark humor.
Huh. And he mentioned there were more videos than just the main Blank Room Soup one.
Yeah, he said later you would even send a link to like a live journal page or something, he couldn't remember the exact name, that had more clips, more videos made with his stolen costumes.
So someone kept making them.
It seems so. He said there were definitely more clips than the ones that went viral, and the last one he received was only a few years ago, which suggests whoever was doing this was pretty dedicated, even if totally anonymous.
Okay, so after all of that,
Yeah.
the deep research, finding the Daily Motion account, tracking down Raymond Percy, hearing the story about the performance art and the theft, what's the final word? Do we have a definitive explanation for Blank Room Soup?
Well, that's the kind of frustrating part, isn't it? Despite uncovering the origin of the characters and the costumes and the fact they were stolen, the ultimate mystery remains. Who actually made the video? And why did they make it?
So Raymond Percy himself doesn't know.
Nope. He has absolutely no idea why that specific video or the others were made. It's a mystery that's now, almost 15 years old? And honestly, we might never fully solve it.
And the whole deep web theory.
Well, as Raymond himself pointed out, you can't really prove or disprove that definitively now. The video has been copied and re-uploaded everywhere online over the years, so it's totally plausible it ended up on the deep web at some point just because it spread so widely. But that doesn't mean it originated there.
Right.
The core questions are still hanging there. Who stole the costumes? Why go to all the trouble of making these bizarre videos with them? What possible message, if any, were they trying to send? It's just a chilling reminder, I think, that even in our super connected digital world, some mysteries just refuse to give up all their secrets.
And that pretty much brings us to the end of this deep dive into the really unsettling world of Blank Room Soup. We started with this truly bizarre, unexplained video. It sparked all these dark theories, torture, fetishes, deep web secrets. And then through some really careful investigation, following digital breadcrumbs and actually talking to the artist, we uncovered this surprising story. A story about a deeply personal performance art project, about isolation, and then this fateful, kind of heartbreaking theft.
Yeah, and we've learned that even when you do the most thorough research, some internet mysteries just hold on to their secrets, don't they? They stay elusive. The whole Blank Room Soup saga really highlights how art, once it's out there, can just take on a life of its own, even when it's stolen and twisted and recontextualized in these really unsettling ways, becoming something totally different from what the creator ever intended. It really leaves you with a lingering question, I think. If you were an artist and you found your most personal work, your creations, used like that in such a baffling, maybe disturbing and widely misunderstood way, how would you actually react?
Definitely something to think about. And it's a powerful reminder that the internet has so many layers, from the everyday stuff to the truly disturbing. And sometimes the strangest stories have the most unexpected and ultimately unresolved origins. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep being well informed.